You seem gay.
Meanwhile, a fight was about to break out in the cafeteria.
You're too
but
sassy.
This time, cafeteria was a trendy restaurant in Chelsea.
Don't be stingy. Tell me, what are they?
Patience, ma chérie.
You're too
You will know when
performative.
you've done them. That's right. And Miss Noxzema, our Duchess of Protocol, will inform you.
Ladies, I appreciate you spending time with me while
You're
Blaine
too
recovers,
sarcastic.
but why are you being so weird and serious? Our periods don't come until the end of the month.
Karen, what am I
Too
doing?
dramatic.
This is devastating. I can't breathe. Everything's spinning. I'm hearing voices. All right, yes, hello.
Mitchell, do you take Cameron to be your husband?
Too emotional.
I do. Then by the powers vested in me by the state of California,
Sometimes too weak.
You get to exhale now, Simon. You get to be more you than you have
And even
been
too sanitized.
in a very long time.
That phrase has long been used to describe men who express emotion, who show gentleness, who stray just slightly from the norms of masculinity. It's not simply a jibe at sexual orientation. It's a tool of a male-dominated society to discipline those who fall outside its self-imposed codes. We've grown too used to this phrase, and too comfortably, we've obeyed the order it implies, by shrinking our emotions, swallowing our tears, and sending down the parts of ourselves that might stand out. But no one can truly survive like that. This system isn't new. In 14th century France, the Knights Templar were disbanded under accusations of homosexuality, not because they were immoral, but because they were too powerful. The most effective way to neutralize a threat to the king's authority was to mark it as deviant. Back then, homosexuality wasn't a symbol of weakness. It was a political weapon, and it still is. Words like homosexual, transgender, or femme-gay are sometimes used to other people, sometimes to justify new hierarchies. We live on top of that old repetition. The word queer was once a symbol of solidarity among those who defied the rules, but even that solidarity had its own boundaries. Hot pink and turquoise, we need to remember these two colors, the first to vanish and the quietest to go from the rainbow flag. Not because they didn't sell, but because they were deemed unsellable. Hot pink was too expensive. Turquoise didn't divide well down the middle of the flag. In the name of aesthetic balance and commercial practicality, the two were dropped. People called it a practical decision, but it was really a decision about which queers could be represented. Hot pink was the color of raw emotion and sexuality. Turquoise stood for art beyond words, sensations that flowed without edges. One was too physical, the other too ambiguous. Neither made it into the flag. The six-color rainbow we now see is centered around acceptable queer symbols. Faces that can stand in front of cameras, stories that earn likes on social media, identities that fit neatly into graphic design. And spinning outside those six, hot pink and turquoise. They are the symbols of the queer we want to speak of today. The unsellable queer, the uncomfortable queer, the bad queer. And now we begin again with those erased colors. Gay, trans, non-binary, queer with disabilities, black queer, older queer, poor queer. They all fall under the word queer, but within it are countless hierarchies. Some identities are media-friendly. Others are still categorized as etc. Identity can be ground for political unity, but if we don't ask who is being represented and who is being marginalized, we risk creating another norm. Queer was a name that rejected norms, but even in that rejection, new orders form, new standards emerge. How can we stay attuned to the discomfort and conflict within? Some existences still don't appear as options, not because the list is too short, but because they were never considered in the first place, and so they remain etc. But etc. doesn't mean leftover. It means those who cannot be explained or who have never been allowed to be explained. Hot Pink Manifesto is the declaration of those etc. The colors cut out for being unappealing. The bodies excluded in the name of political efficiency. The story's too emotional, too complex, too unstable to be cleanly packaged. These stories gather again to reweave the flag, not to make it pretty this time, but to stitch together a new thread that never existed before.